Hi, my name is Teri Rose, and someone submitted a question to me and asked me to talk a little bit more about breathing in relationship to my near-death experience and what that was like after during my car wreck when I had left my body. And I talk more about that on my YouTube channel, Piece of Success. But just to answer that, when I saw that question, I had to stop and think about it a minute, because that's something that it never even occurred to me. And I think the reason it didn't occur to me is because I didn't have a body. And I feel like what we do here on earth, we're breathing in air, which is of the spiritual realm. It's not something that we see. We're breathing in the air, and we're feeling it in our physical body. So if we don't have a physical body, we really don't experience the breath. And I started to think about it, it's more like we are the breath. We're in that spiritual realm. I think in a way we are all of those spiritual things. So I tell you, it's one of those things that I find it to be just impossible to really describe what that experience was like and to be able to put it into words. And part of the real problem with that, I think, trying to find the words, is that it wasn't a language of words. In that place where I was, it was like knowledge being conveyed to me, or thoughts being conveyed to me that I understood what they were, but it's just something that I don't think that here on earth that we really even have the capability to understand what that is until you experience it, and then I can't bring it back into the physical and explain it. It's just, I just have never been able to find the words. Sometimes I even look through the dictionary and just try to find words that really can explain it, but I haven't ever been able to do that. And when I've read books about other people talking about the experience, they experienced the same thing. It was a knowingness, it was a kind of a mental telepathy, or just a way of understanding, but it wasn't really in words. Although, when I woke up in the hospital, there were two words that stuck in my mind. I guess it's not really just two words, but it was knowledge and truth, to seek knowledge and seek truth. And I just woke up hearing those words, and it's like I heard the memories of it or something. I don't know. It's kind of a waste of time to really even try to convey it, because I can't do that. But the other part of that is this being of light that I felt like, that I was standing before. I felt like it took on an image. I was always taught that there was this mean, judging, harsh God that was. I was told that God loved me, but yet God was always conveyed in a way that I was being judged, and that I needed to be good, or bad things were going to happen to me, or I would be kept out of heaven if I didn't toe the line. So when I saw this being, which seemed to be a supreme being, there's some people that say we're all God. It felt like this was a supreme being. It was a being that I would want to strive to be like, and a being that I just absolutely loved, and I felt nothing but love from this being. But I felt like I was a part of this being. The essence that I was a part of it. What I think of as my soul, that light of my soul, whatever my soul is, it's like that's what I was when I was there. I was that soul essence that was a part of that supreme being, but yet I still had the feeling that this being was definitely a supreme being, not an equal. That could be argued by people. Everybody has their own beliefs according to the way they were raised. Some people really believe that there is a God that's sitting on a throne at the gates of heaven, and that we're judged. I cannot believe that from what I saw. But I also feel like this being was something that I want to strive to be like, and that's why I strive to be able to feel love. But the being took on an image, and this is what was conveyed to me in thought that I really can't describe. But I saw a man, I saw the image of a man, an older man, loving and kind, like sort of almost a grandfatherly type figure, the most beautiful being that you could ever even imagine, that was comforting to me and loving towards me, but I could understand that it was this light essence that was what the being really was. That's what I was standing before. The image was there to give me something at my level of understanding to be able to tie into, to be able to relate to. So because of that, that's why when people ask me my beliefs about certain things, I don't know anything. All I know is that was so foreign from what I had been taught. So when I am told things here on earth, or I get certain ideas about things, I know that as I evolve and my understanding expands and my experiences expand, my understanding, everything changes. I grow with it. So I have no idea what I'll think or believe or understand tomorrow. And that's why I've said before, I take everything with a grain of salt. Some people feel like they really know what the answers are. I don't. I just have lots of questions. But I do know I didn't have a physical body, but yet I was still me. I was very much me, my own consciousness, an individual. And yet I was a part of this light at the same time. So without a body, there was just no thought or no experience of breathing. As I said, maybe it's like I was the breath. Maybe we are in that spiritual realm. Maybe that's really what we're breathing in here, is that what's thought of as prana, or our life force. Maybe that's what I was that life force, and without a body, I'm not really going to experience it. So anyway, as you can see, I'm kind of talking in circles here a little bit, because I just love thinking about it. I love the fact that when people submit questions, it allows me to think about things at a little deeper level and talk about them here. So I hope that if there are questions or anything that comes to mind, that you will continue to ask questions and give me an opportunity to talk more about some of these things, or visit my website at peaceofsuccess.com and leave some comments there. Or I'm sure that there's people who have stories. They have their own experiences. I love it, when people share things and we can all think. And what that does, it takes us more out of this belief and this focus on everything being in the physical. Because the other thing that I saw was that this was such a speck of time. I watched my life, and things that just seemed like they were just so important, they were such a big deal, everything revolved around them here on earth. I saw from that place that they were a tiny speck of time. They were so insignificant. And so that's another thing that I try to look at and try to remember, that all these things that seem like they're a big deal, they're not going to be much of anything when you look at the whole expanse of who we really are and our existence, and then what we put our attention on here. So I try to remember that, and I just try to flow with everything and really realize and remember that I am a spiritual being inside of this physical body, and I have access to this whole spiritual realm and the power of that realm. And that's why I feel that it's very important to keep a vision for everything that I'm doing, create things in my mind the way that I would like them to turn out, as long as I'm not focusing on anybody else doing something. I don't ever want my goals to be dependent on anybody else, because that's something I certainly have no control over. All I can do is feel a feeling and visualize the way that I would like my life to be, but leave it open to the universe to bring